Hello, this is David again with the Rental Stop. We're here to talk about our 20-inch chainsaw. It is a 2-cycle engine and it has a 20-inch bar. So we're going to go over those details so we know how to send it out and what to look for and to be able to help the customer the best we can with our equipment. The first step that we make sure that we assure our customers that we're getting a good piece of equipment is letting them know what type of fuel the saw uses, and it uses a 2-cycle blend. We want to make sure the customer sees that it's a 2-cycle blend by putting it in a clear container so there is no confusion on what type of fuel it is. The second step is making sure that the saw has lubrication with the bar oil. We send out bar oil to make sure that it will lubricate the bar and the chain. The third step is to make sure that the chain is on properly as the chain is pointing away from the saw. Just a reminder, every time a saw goes out, we always put a new loop chain on the saw to assure the customer has a sharp saw starting off. Every saw rental comes with a 1-gallon 2-cycle filled can. We always check in front of the customer that it has 2-cycle gas inside the can to assure the customer understands how important it is. We also send a scrunch tool to be able to loosen and tightening the chain to assure the customer keeps the chain able in this tightness. The first step on starting the saw is to push and pull down the choke lever all the way down into the choke mode. The second step is to place the saw on the ground and away from your body and being able to pull, hearing that sound where it wants to start. The next step is to, once we hear it, pull that up into this position right here where it's half choke. And we will start the engine. The only difference with the Polesaw versus the 20-inch bar chainsaw is that on the starting process, we have a primer bulb designed to make it easier to start the unit in the choke position. After starting the saw, the next step is to make sure that the saw is producing oil for the bar. After checking the bar oil is lubricating the bar, we test the unit in front of the customer with a piece of wood. After the rental stop employee tests in front of the customer, it's now time for us to make sure the customer knows how to start the saw on his own at rental stop. Once the customer comes back with the saw, the first step that we take is making sure that the saw has the proper fuel in it by putting it in our clear container. It's very important the saw is never started until that process is done, as well as this process of checking the 2-cycle gas in the gas can. Both are very important to assure us that the saw was ran with the proper fuel. It is also important to make sure that the accessories that were sent out, the scrunch tool, as well as the bar oil, is returned, as well as making sure the chain is in good condition to the point that there is no damage legible to be seen. Once all of the steps have been taken with the fuel and checking the equipment that's brought back, we want to start the saw in front of the customer. It's very important on the Polesaw to make sure that the extension comes out nice and easy and shown to the customer. On return of the Polesaw, it is very important that the extension has been tested, that there is no bentness to the shaft. Last but not least, we need to make sure the customer receives a yellow card or a red card. Yellow meaning everything looks good from the yard position, and a red card is saying that there is some concern or some damage that's been seen, such as fuel not being the right fuel, or the chain has some damage to it, or some other part of the saw has an issue.